Welcome back to Hunter Ice Skating Stadium. DeFris Game 13, Queensland versus South Australia. We have Queensland have had a good tournament so far, as have South Australia. Eric Brook alongside me, John D. JD, hello.
Hello, Eric. Happy to be here.
Absolutely happy to be here. Let's have a look at what the two teams have done so far. South Australia had a 2-0 loss against Western Australia. They lost 5-1 to New South Wales and had a 10-2 win against the ACT yesterday. Queensland, on the other hand, they haven't won a game yet. Lost 7-1 to Victoria, 11-2 to Western Australia, and 18-0 against New South Wales. So it'll be interesting to see how this one goes.
So you've got to look at, and you've got to think that my apologies, South Australia are going to be your odds-on favourite for this one, just looking at that history. But look, anything's possible. We've seen bigger upsets in our time.
Absolutely, we have indeed. So Queensland in their maroon and white, and having a look at the goaltender situation. Now Queensland have to choose between Xavier Hale and Issa Creasy. And isn't that just the best name for a goalie?
Issa Creasy, I love that.
And South Australia have Riley Knapp and also our favourite E-Bug in the form of Billy Drew.
That would be young Billy Drew, our E-Bug, who is everybody's E-Bug.
Yeah, he's everybody's E-Bug, absolutely. And she played the whole game against the ACT. The ACT, so
66 shots on for 10 goals. 10 goals look like a lot, but when you consider she made 56 saves, good job, Billy Drew.
So we have about 1 minute remaining of the warm-up. So we'll have South Australia here in the red. Of course, games of hockey, JD, aren't played on paper.
They certainly are not, and if they were, well then we'd all be off to Vegas. But at this point, yeah, as I say, it could go either way. Like the Queensland side, as we've said in the previous game, they're not a bad side. They've just been outplayed. South Australia historically has a very strong junior and female development programs happening down there out of the ice arena.
So all the pucks are being returned to centre ice.
We'll collect them over there, make themselves a little pile, do some puck art.
So we're having a look on screen, JD. Our split screen. The split screen for the respective nets.
Oh, they come in and do their huddles? I always love these. I know what happens in huddle stays in huddle, but I'd love to know what goes on in there. Is it just gossip? Is it strategy? Is it psych up?
But it's interesting. I've noticed in Boxall, for instance, the Victorian team have been doing this at their bench and last-minute strategies.
Oh.
Where this moment, what we can see on the screen and here at the Jumbotron in Arena, this is the players' final moment. No coaches. Just players.
Just them having their moment. Look, and that just comes down to coaching and team styles. It's perfectly both legitimate ways to start a game. But
so Hale in net for Queensland.
Issa not in the creasy.
No.
How many times have you made that joke this tournament, Eric?
Actually, I haven't.
Oh, I'll take that one.
So here we go. Centre ice. South Australia against Queensland, and we are underway. South Australia in possession. Here's Truss, sending it wide. We met with it, trying to clear it out. Having some support in Hansen for South Australia. Sending it wide. Up against the boards. Els. Queensland looking to centre it. They do. Back in towards neutral ice. It'll come back now for Mickey Noddle. Noddle with it, left-hand side, finds Hansen, finds Weemet near Cafe Corner. Queensland looking to clear it out of their defensive end and out of play in skate higher corner.
And that has hit the net and almost landed over next to the skate sharpening machine, had there been no net. But look, the thing with, I know South Australia have done quite well so far this tournament, and I know losing Jasmine Chen early on was a concern for them. But there doesn't seem to be a massive Jasmine-shaped hole despite the strength she brings to the team.
So we'll do that one again. But overall, JD, there's been lots of fast action. Doesn't matter the teams.
Oh, that's right.
Attacking zone face-off coming up for South Australia. Queensland trying to clear it out of the slot area and into neutral ice via Vivian, who's been a big contributor for Queensland. It'll come back now for Fode. Scored the first goal for South Australia. Wee Gun back now for Fold. Gagnon back into centre ice. Here's Cannon. Vivian. And out of play at the penalty boxes.
And that's landed over there. One more for the collection for the boys over there. And look, these guys aren't local Newcastle guys that are currently in our box. And what I was saying previously in one of the other games about all the volunteers, it's not just local Newcastle people that are helping out. It's people from all over that have come to support the teams. And I think that's great.
And also seeing all the friends and family from interstate coming along as well. And, it is school holidays. It was selected like that for a reason. And especially you got people playing up and that sort of stuff with the 4 tournaments running in conjunction with each other. As South Australia clear it out. And it's good work there by Janowski. Queensland trying to clear it out of the corner near skate higher. Crampton briefly. Here's an opportunity for Arthur. Arthur now getting forced wide. Back in towards neutral ice. Met up against the much biggest Holmes ball. And it will come back now for Truce. Off the player in the way through in the form of Mannix. Back now for Noddle. Mickey Noddle at their defensive end. 13 minutes remaining in the period. 0-0 the score. Back towards neutral ice in Hannon. Hannon fires from distance. Good save there by Hale. And Queensland looking to get out of the defensive end. Hannon, a good work there by Els. It'll come back now for Ripon. Ripon, a growing name in Australian hockey. Trying to get around a couple out of the zone now. Just so they can go backwards at the moment. It's Noddle. Cross ice pass. Right hand side. Met. And they've gone offside.
There's actually a couple of those names here on the Queensland side that are starting to get around. You're looking at your Ripons, your Mets, famously of Brisbane Lightning player surnames. Dynasties all over the place. Eric?
Yeah, absolutely. And some needed and done upgrade works at Boondall with the boards that are looking fantastic. The Lightning social media has actually had to put out a warning recently to say that the ice is going to be a lot colder than you're used to. Good shot there, fired, and a good save there by Hale. They're coming out. Here comes Ripon now. Ripon tries to fire. Just got the skates on the way through. They go the aerial route back to centre ice. Been end-to-end action. Hanson. Here's an opportunity. Walking in and scoring. South Australia. They make it 1-0.
I love a good celly, especially with the kids. They have such a good time.
Absolutely.
Have a look at this here on the replay.
So it's good work there by Els.
All out there, all on his own. Past 3 of them. Plants it. No arguing that one. As you have a look here from goalie cam, just comes across all on his own. Wraps it round. In.
Back to centre ice we go. Here's Mickey Noddle. Noddle now, centering pass, trying to find some support. Met trying to clear it out. On the attack, Weigland. Back now for Fode. Fode with it behind the Hale net of Queensland. Fode stops, props, turns, centres. In front, backdoor opportunity off the iron, and the net also came off its moorings at the same time. That was Gagnon.
That net, it's always that side of it. There's a problem with that mooring.
Oh, in this case, it was pushed off by a South Australian player.
Oh, I'm just trying to blame the net, not the players here, Eric. Just give the kids a bit of credit.
Those things are heavy, JD.
They really are. Have you ever tried to move one?
Yes.
Oh,
that's not easy.
And you see some of the Ginsberg kids there, they're just sliding around like they're nothing. Again, can't do the things I was doing.
Attacking zone face-off for South Australia. Fode will take it. I've seen a lot of South Australian hockey this weekend. Back now for Noddle. Noddle with it on the right-hand side. It'll come back now for Gagnon. Near skate high corner. Centering. The puck's still free. The puck is still free. Fode battling up against Cunningham. Centering pass, and that was a good shot from distance from Noddle. and a little bit of pushy shovey. They all come together.
You don't see a lot of the extracurriculars at this level. So when it happens, it's like, oh, the kids must be riled up. I'm not quite sure what caused that one, but we'll see.
So
it was a bit of a scuffle over, get out of my crease, get out of my crease. And you've pushed him over and he's landed on the goalie.
Protect the goalie.
Protect the goalie at all costs. So
an attacking zone face-off and a new line on coming up for both teams. Hannon will take the face-off for South Australia. What I'd really love is like some team names, like for instance you have in cricket, like the Redbacks, and that sort of thing. So the Redbacks from South Australia, as a for instance.
Well, if we name them, does that make it canon?
Maybe. Back now for Hannon. Hannon looking to go behind their own net, clearing it out. Funky bounce just finds Queensland Peptides Rivet. South Australia clearing it out now. Trying to get it out of the zone was Holmes' ball. Holmes' ball coming back with it. It's Mannix now, battling up against the boards. Reinforcements arrive. South Australia clearing it out of their zone now. Here's Hannon. We met with it, taking over for Queensland. Queensland entering the zone. We met finds the board skates first. South Australia looking to clear it out near Zamboni corner. It's hard to believe, JD, that there's been 5 minutes of action so far. Seems like a lot more of that.
It does, because there's been only the one whistle thus far when the net came off. So good to see such fast-paced hockey.
There was one stage in one of the games, there was like 7 minutes in between whistles. Queensland now, Mannix getting forced wide. Now there's a penalty coming. Interference, the call. So the player who's being penalised, Barter, was actually off the ice having done a shift and has come back onto the ice to go into the penalty box.
Yep, Eleanor Barter had made her way off and she was standing on the bench. We can see her from up here on the platform and she was like, what, who, me? But no interference.
I'm on the bench, sir.
Yeah, I couldn't have done anything. It wasn't me. But look, here she goes. And when you'll see it here on the replay, it was...
That's the thing with delayed penalties. You can try and sneak away.
Unhappy with the inside the circle, not allowed to be in there.
So attacking zone face-off and start of the power play for Queensland. Rip-on fires and a good save there. Back now behind the net. South Australia just need to get the puck out of there. There's Cannon firing with a cannon. Cunningham couldn't take the rebound, and that will come all the way back now for Cannon. You can imagine, JD.
I can.
Cannon with it now, using some soccer skills. South Australia with it. It'll come back now for Rip-on. Rip-on now with it, heading towards Cafe Corner, up against Fode. Player falls. Back now, Rip-on uses the board like an extra player. Coming back now for Queensland. Pet Rides, the captain, dropping it off now. Shot fired there by Arthur. Zamboni corner, clearing it out, past Rip-on, all the way back down. No icing on the penalty kill. The safety first there by Hale. Queensland have another 56 seconds of the player advantage. It'll come back now for Schleckner briefly. Up against the board, deflected, out of play. So what I love as well, JD, amongst the many things that I like, you got all the South Australian fans directly in line with the South Australian bench. You've got the Queensland directly in line with the Queensland bench. It's awesome.
It's fantastic to see, but the problem is it's a different home and away side every game, so everybody's got to shuffle. That's right, they've got to move all the flags.
Back now, and the net's off its moorings.
Once again, it's gone off the other side this time, almost at a 45-degree angle. And isn't it handy that Etienne wears that bright red helmet? You can spot him anywhere.
Yeah. There's been a couple like that.
Etienne Jujanovsky, for those of you playing at home, number 60, whose, fun fact, younger sister will be joining us for Ginsburg next week, or tomorrow. Not tomorrow?
Is it? I was going to say, is it tomorrow?
No, Wednesday.
JD, say with me, it's a long
tournament. I've had a long week. It's only Monday.
But as I was saying in the previous game, isn't this much better than what we normally do on a Monday?
Well, that's right.
Attacking zone face-off for South Australia. There's still 37 seconds of the Queensland power play. They're at the wrong end briefly. But let's see what can happen. Cross-ice pass intended for Noddle. Can't keep it in the zone, so have to come back there. Shalekna battling. Noddle just electing to go all the way back to their own goal line. Now that was a powerful let's get out of here move. No icing on the penalty kill. And it's left now for me, Matt. Left-hand side. Finds Henley. South Australia again, clear it out. 7 seconds remaining of the penalty kill for South Australia. And JD, it's been a good penalty kill.
Absolutely. You wouldn't even know that they were on the penalty kill from the strength that they've come in with.
So back now, here's Vivian, cafe corner. Left-hand side, nice stretch pass for Mannix. Still chasing the puck. Mannix near the door of doom. That'll come back for Janowski. Janowski, cross-ice pass, Gagnon. And here's Vivian under some pressure. Centre ice, Shalekna. That'll come all the way back down. Safety first. Still have to play on. Queensland were changing. Down the right-hand side, South Australia. Queensland there in weight of numbers, 7:15 remaining. 1-0 is the score to South Australia. Battle in the corner near skate higher. And Vivian again working it out. Queensland working it out. It's Rippon. Rippon with it. Rippon fires, deflected. Hits the glass. It dipped right at the end. I thought it was going to keep going up towards the netting, but it dipped at the final seconds. Here's Rippon again. And I did notice towards the end of the last game there was a very much a ploy for Queensland to send it to Rippon.
Yes. Which, I mean, look at his pedigree. Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you indeed? Mickey Noddle now crosses all the lines, fires, good save, rebound opportunity, but Cannon cleans up for Queensland. South Australia not quite on the doorstep. Out of the penalty box now is Barter. Back to 5-on-5 hockey. Back now for South Australia at their own defensive end. Finds Noddle, who's done a mountain of work. Gagon taps it on. Smashed in by Duffy. Back for Noddle, the rebound off the back wall. Noddle now. And that, of course, that name is very familiar to some of us. As tapped in. Sometimes you don't know with families unless you really know them to who's related to who.
Well, that's right.
So here comes Queensland. Cannon on the left-hand side, firing. His stick went in one direction, the puck went in the other direction, but still recovered. Cannon with it again. Back for Vivian. Vivian fires, deflected wide. Duffy. Back now for Cunningham. Kept in the zone via Alpha. Losing possession. Here's an opportunity now for South Australia with Spencer ball. Spencer Holmes ball even. And another opportunity at the other end for Cunningham. Cunningham walks in, can't pull the trigger, penalty coming. We did have a couple of penalty shots earlier in Boxall, and here's another one.
Probably the highest concentration of penalty shots I've seen in a tournament.
So that's the third that I can remember today.
Yeah, that's today. Do we go on the penalty shot? Because that was Etienne Janowski, I believe, was the one at fault in that one.
So Emmett Cunningham will take the penalty shot for Queensland. He can equalise here.
He can. Emmett Cunningham, no stranger to both state and representative hockey throughout the country, playing in many a tournament. So
just the final briefing. Don't know what you need to know at this point. You know, you see that puck, keep it out of your net.
Well, that's right. And for the shooter, it's put it past the goalie.
Cunningham walks in. Very patient there from Cunningham, but even more patience there from Knapp.
Riley Knapp, just an absolute superstar all tournaments so far.
So here's another look at the... You can't really fault either approach.
No. You come in, you do the fake out one, fake out two. Knapp dropped to the butterfly at the exact moment, got the pad in the way, and that was all she wrote.
So 1-0 still to South Australia on the attack.
You were saying?
There we were saying it's now 1-1.
It's 1-1. There we go. And that's the importance of catching a rebound.
Absolutely, it is. Replay action coming up for you. The net cam especially will show the desperation.
Going to come straight off that pad, the same save he did in the penalty shot. And this is the better angle of it here. Bounces back out, gets caught by the teammate, catches it, flicks it up and through that tiny gap there.
So Crampton there.
Yep.
So
if we were more fond of puns, we could have said that he put a real Crampton in his style, but we're not going to say that because that's silly.
Yeah, JD, that's... When'd that ever stop me? Trouse now entering the zone, pulling the... here's an opportunity, but Queensland clear it out via Cannon. Cannon now. The intensity seems to have stepped up within the last couple of seconds, JD, as Queensland go offside.
They certainly do, and that intensity has stepped up on both sides. And look, we saw in that moment a few seconds ago there where Annika Wagoon came in and was an absolute wall against that one. And look, at South Australia having the highest contingent of female players in the comp, and the girls, they bring it just as hard as the boys do. And then you look at the Victorian team, their captain's a girl.
Absolutely. So a neutral zone face-off closest to the South Australian penalty box. Noddle, cross-ice pass. And here's Mulcheska entering the zone now, centering, Fode. Coming back now was Wimet. South Australia still with it. Here's Henley from distance. Bit of pushy shovey Arthur sending a player for South Australia to the ice. Now there's a penalty coming.
A penalty, high sticking. That's right, that's where you need to keep it, on the ice, not up high.
So South Australia, JD, heading back to the power play.
That's right, and look, when it gets to the second or third power play, you've got to think that at some point they're going to get that power play goal. Not to take anything away from Queensland's penalty kill, which has historically been pretty strong.
So Arthur sits 2 minutes for high sticking. Attacking zone face-off and power play coming up for South Australia. Cafe corner. South Australia with it. Let's see how they can structure this power play. They're working down low through Node. Guarded there by Cannon. Right-hand side, Gagnon. He's got some options left, right and centre. Working down low in the slot. Play continues and a power play goal for South Australia. Tic-tac-toe and a very quick conclusion. 19 seconds worth of power play time for South Australia.
But they didn't force it. They took their time. They knew where everyone was. Obviously a system they've worked on. Pass, 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 in, up and over.
So L's back first for the drive-by.
That's right. So we've got to assume that it was probably going to be him.
Great work in front of the net there by L's.
And then we're, of course, back at full strength having been scored on.
So 2-1 South Australia. What's going to happen next? Let's see.
Someone's going to hit a puck with a stick.
Thank you, JD.
See?
See, there we go. Entering Janoski. Rebound opportunity.
Catch a
That's
rebound.
what happens.
That's three.
Catch, rebound, Hanson, goal.
Let's have a look at this on the replay here. Like, as I mentioned, yep, stick on puck. Comes across. Janoski shoots it. Catches that rebound from the teammate. Teammate plants it. Looks like it was young Hanson.
So good job there by Hanson, and that's been a thing. If you've had somebody in front of the net, that's one of the things that can happen.
And that's one of the big things that can be missing in junior hockey. Not necessarily this level, but the lower one is getting to the net to catch those rebounds.
So Queensland trying to squeeze through a gap that wasn't there, closed up by South Australia. 3-1 now to South Australia. A couple of bang-bang goals. Mannix for Queensland. South Australia looking to go on the attack. Lots of Queensland players in the slots there. Crampton got himself a goal a few moments ago. 11 on 11. Noddle getting the better of Crampton on that occasion. Working it out, South Australia. Back now for Trouse. Arthur had to watch the offside. Does so well. Arthur trying to get around one but couldn't. South Australia now looking to clear it out now via Henley. Henley just happy to promote it in and come off for a change. We met with it now for Queensland. Queensland with it, trying to get around Hannon, but can't. Kept in the zone by South Australia, out of the zone via Mannix. And now for Spencer Ball entering the zone. Crampton as a getting together there in centre ice. Holmes ball. We may. Penalty coming. Penalty box door will be opening. Slashing the call. Penalty box door opening.
And off he goes. And if we have a look at what's happened, very clear cut and dry what's happened there. Trying to protest his innocence, but I don't think once in the 100 and some odd years history of hockey has it ever actually overturned a decision.
Well, I know Holmes' ball there, Spencer Holmes' ball, was heading in the general direction of the penalty box. And then Queensland are the ones that will be short-handed for the next 2 minutes. South Australia power play.
And will we see a repeat of the previous performance with the last power play goal? We'll know in the next 2 minutes.
It was 19 seconds.
It was.
For the last one, for the last power play goal. Els will take the attacking zone face-off and the start of the South Australian power play.
And you look at the penalty kill line that they do bring in for Queensland, and those are 4 of their strongest players, including Cannon.
Here comes South Australia now. Noddle working it down low, right-hand side. Now they have somebody down low, right-hand side. Gagnon intercepting. Here's an opportunity for Pet Rides. Getting forced wide. Short-handed, doesn't have any support, out of the zone. Els, Rippon has to turn and chase, does so. Here comes Janowski, getting sent wide, centering, having some support in Noddle on the blue line. Cleared out by Fode. Fode again. Els needs to go in front of the net. Els is having an epic battle with Cannon in front of the net. Up against the boards. Across the face of goal. Firing from distance, wide. No action required. Kept in the zone via Noddle. Cross ice pass. Finds Gagnon. Up against Rippon. Fode walking in. Congestion in the slot. Finds skate higher corner. 90 seconds on the big clock. 48 seconds on the small clock. That was a good opportunity for South Australia, but Queensland were there waiting in the slot. Kept in by Gagnon. Noddle's waiting for it at the top of the umbrella. High and wide. Janowski. Back now for Noddle. Cross ice pass. Deflected into cafe corner. There is 1 minute remaining in the period. Back now for Noddle. Noddle winds up, selects power drive. Rebound there on offer. But Els was the closest Crow-Eater there. Back now 52 seconds. 10 seconds of the power play remaining. Noddle again at the feet of a Queensland player. And well saved there by Hale.
And this is what you see sometimes, and it's a fine line for teams. When you've got these moments where you do have them outnumbered, especially for the attacking teams. You can see it at all levels of hockey. They spend a lot of time trying to set those shots up without necessarily taking the shots, and then you can lead to a turnover, or a shot like that, which has just happened, and then you've run out the clock.
46 seconds on the big clock, 6 seconds on the small clock in the favour of the South Australian power play. New power play unit coming on for South Australia. Play continues. Queensland will just be happy to keep it out of the slot for the next 5 seconds. New player onto the ice, out of the penalty box, back to 5-on-5 with 35 seconds remaining. Centering back into Zamboni corner. Short break after this period. Schleckner busy in the corner. Here's Arthur. Arthur just elects to go towards Zamboni corner, and Schleckner. Barter trying to clear it out. One last opportunity to clear it out of the zone. They make it out of the zone well around Arthur. Here's an opportunity getting sent wide there by Ouimet. Centering, no South Australian players in the slot. Firing from distance, and that is the end of a highly entertaining first period. South Australia with a 3-1 lead, JD.
3-1, not 3-0. Don't take some points off of Merck. Look, that's exactly what we've come to. This scoreline is what we've come to expect from both these teams. It's relatively close. Both teams are still in it. your mountain that you like to talk about is nowhere near insurmountable for Queensland at this point. They could come back really easily from it, like with your likes of, like, you look at your Cramptons, you look at your Arthurs, Creasy, Creasy doing his job. Any of these guys could make a difference and a change to the tide at any second. It's definitely not over for those guys. And this is what Adelaide also need to remember. Adelaide. My apologies, South Australia.
Easy habit to fall into.
It's very, well, they've only got the one rink, so it's in Adelaide. That team that's wearing red, the Redbacks, as we've called them, need to not get complacent at this point. A 2-goal lead, absolutely the best lead to have, but you don't want to get comfy with it.
So having a look at the scoring summary for that first period, with 3 minutes gone in the period, South Australia opened the scoring. Els with their first goal of the tournament, assisted by Hanson. And then a reply by Crampton for Queensland, their first goal of the tournament, assisted by Ripon. So Els picked up their second goal of the tournament, a power play goal for South Australia, assisted by Fode. And Hanson, their first goal of the tournament, assisted by Janowski and Barter.
It's a game of firsts. But look, first goal, 100th goal, it all adds to the tally. Doesn't matter who gets it. If it's your first, it's great. If you're a consistent scorer, all helps your team. Not an individual sport, but individual numbers are nice to know for players. Here we are, coming back on after the brief break. We get the longer gap between 2 and 3.
Reminds me of old A-Dub. Very, very long ago, JD.
Oh, back in the long ago.
Back in the long ago, before 3 20-minute periods. Back now to centre ice, and we're underway for period number 2. Trouse with it now. Back for Peptides. All the way back down to the Zamboni corner for Ripon. Hanson first to the puck, centering pass, couldn't connect with anybody in red, and that will come all the way back down for South Australia at their defensive end. Cross ice pass, trying to link up with Hanson. Hanson does a good job of that. Pep rides with it now as the partial line change for South Australia. Fode, they get around Fode, entering the zone. Peptides getting forced wide, shooting. Lots of South Australian players there in the slot to clear that one. Ripon just smashes it back in from whence it came. And it'll be back for South Australia to clear it out of their defensive end. All the way back down. Here comes South Australia. Some soccer skills on display there from Cannon. Didn't really work in the end. South Australia needs some support down there. Arthur centering. Queensland in a good position to clear it out. Shot fired. Goes wide there. Shot fired. Shot scored. Olcheska.
Look, that's another perfect example of one of those smaller players we've been talking about. Not necessarily the biggest, but they can get themselves in and out of those tight positions, line up the shot. It's exactly what's happened there.
When you see how many white jerseys were there and thereabouts.
Yep. Got to the right spot at the right time, got in between them. That's what we say about those smaller players.
So 4-1 now to South Australia. And that'll come back now for Fode. Fode fires a little bit of iron there. The tink, the ding.
Most heartbreaking sound in all of hockey.
Depending on your point of view, JD.
Depending on your point of view.
Back now for Wigan. Winds up, fires lots of players in the slot. Follow-up opportunity on the left-hand post from a South Australian point of view. Up against the boards, Janowski. Come back from Weemet. Weemet looking to clear it out. South Australia there taking over Zamboni corner. Battle up against the boards. Duffy getting the better one of that one. South Australia still looking to go on the attack on the left-hand side near the famous door. Janowski with it again. Hannon driving the net. Hannon there couldn't take advantage of the rebound. Backhanded shovel from Holmes' ball almost worked. Centering pass goes behind the net. Back now, Janowski firing. Holmes' ball. New player onto the ice. Back now for Duffy. Duffy trying to clear it out. They've hemmed them down here, JD.
They certainly are. They're not letting... Well, we've had a whistle.
Net's off.
Net's off. It's almost like they're playing street hockey. Net's off.
Car.
And the South Australian team with a slight change of one defender. We're off, not on.
So 1, 2, 3, 4 remaining on the big clock. 4-1 South Australia, second period. Attacking zone face-off to the right-hand side of Hale. Hannon, attacking zone face-off now coming up. Queensland looking to clear it out via Vivian, but can't. Centering. Watchful on the right-hand post was Hale. Now Queensland can clear it out. South Australia back there via Noddle. Noddle against Vivian. Noddle just going back. Turnover Vivian. And that's the value of having a player like Vivian come all the way back and provide that forechecking, back-checking, pay-checking.
Pay-checking?
It's a cliche.
All right, we'll go with it.
It's a Pete Lambertism.
Of course it is. I knew it sounded familiar.
Back now, Noddle. Cross-ice pass for Hanson. Hanson centre ice, tapped on briefly there by Hannon. Going the aerial route, almost hitting the Jumbotron and or the roof. Avoids both.
Would not be the first or last time this has happened, much to management's chagrin.
No. Clearing it out now. Watts turnover. Shot goes slightly wide. Looking to clear it out again is Noddle. Vivian centering. Good solid save there by Knapp. Kept in the zone via Ripon. Goes high. In the corner. Hanson amongst the others there for South Australia. Big long stretch pass. That'll come back now for Ripon. Ripon now. Right hand side. Getting past Els briefly. Possession taken over by Shalekna. Into the corner near Cafe Corner. JD recommends the chips and gravy.
He certainly does. Hash browns are good too.
Hash browns, add that to the list. Back now for South Australia. Left hand side, centering pass. Good work there. Just happy to dump it in. No one come off for a change. Hanson. It's back now for Ripon. 10:45 remaining in the second. 4-1 South Australia. Almost a turnover caused there against the Cannon by Gagnon. Gagnon with it now briefly. There's been a running battle including Cannon. Cannon though, left-hand side, in some traffic, can't go any further. The Cannon got disarmed. Back now for Henley. Uses the backdoor escape route. Trying to clear it out left-hand side. Probably better that hit didn't happen. South Australia entering the zone now via Fode. Fode now getting pressured there by Ripon. Regaining possession. Janowski's loaded on the right-hand circle. Comes back to Henley. Can't keep it in. And that'll go all the way back down. Cross-ice pass for Janowski. Janowski around Shalekna. Into Zamboni corner. South Australia coming off for a change. Cannon behind their own net. Cannon now looking to go 200 foot or however long that is in metres. Cannon now looking to fire. Can't fire. Cannon now almost getting dispossessed by Noddle. Regaining possession of the puck. Back now for Wiemet. Here's a counter-attack opportunity. Here's Fode. Fode coming back now against Watts. Fode walks in, deflected high. Still in play. Fode comes off for a rest. Spencer Ball, or home Spencer Ball rather, took an air swing. Shalekna in some traffic. Noddle taking over. And JD, there's been a long time between whistles, my friend.
It's been a long time between whistles. You've done that all without taking a breath. That's super impressive. And let me say it, and that will come back for icing. Always wanted to do that.
Thank you, JD.
It's all right, I got you.
I got you.
I got you.
Attacking zone face-off coming up for Queensland.
Goalie change.
This is interesting.
Creasy going in.
If I have seen goalie changes before, usually it's been at the Zamboni break, so we haven't actually seen it.
Yeah.
But that's a very interesting one. Creasy coming in now. I don't think it's a reflection of what's going on in the game. I think it's just goalie rotation.
I think it might be because we're coming up on that halfway point between the two periods.
Back now, Hannon firing in from distance. Arthur behind their own net. Adelaide, now you got me doing it. South Australia coming in off a line change. Shot fired from distance. No action required there by Knapp. And that will come in eventually near the Queensland bench. It's interesting too how the benches keep on changing. So you've got a reorientate yourself for every game. Who's on what bench in a short amount of time.
That's right.
Centering pass. Back now for Rells. Around Weemat, but at the skates of Weemat, rather. And that'll come back for South Australia. In the corner. Corporate corner. Cross ice. Weemat with it now. Zamboni corner. Zamboni out in 8:15. Back now for Hanson. Els. Pep rides. With it. Good battle in the corner there. It'll come back now, changing direction. Arthur leaves it for Mannix. Mannix, that could have been risky, but cleared out of harm's way. Fired in from Barter. Back now from Weemat. Changing the angle. Janowski with it, just sending it back. So Hem down here again, JD.
Certainly are. Oh, bounces off like he wasn't even there.
Barter fires, but just got the shins of Crampton on the way through. Captain's owned by Hanson. Hanson. Els, left-hand circle. Hanson winds up, fires, selects power drive. Your puck has landed in back of net. A cold Creasy who's just come in net.
And that's the risky run, isn't it? When you've had the 4 goals that were scored on the previous goalie. You swap them out, you send Creasy in, but had been standing on the bench, was cold, and then that happens. Just was not ready for that, and that wasn't the prettiest of goals in the world. See it here, literally just trickles up and over.
So 5-1 now. And as I have mentioned before, they have sometimes changed goalies, Queensland. Usually in the Zamboni break, I haven't seen it yet during gameplay, during games that I've commentated on. Back now, battle, Gagnon, happy to promote in. A little cross-check against Duffy for their contribution. Up against the board, South Australia on the attack with 7:18 remaining. Fode in front of the net now, trying just to give themselves a little bit of room. Fode finds some support on the left-hand side, left-hand circle, doing laps. Henley up against the boards. Heavy contact there by Rippon. Manages to get out of that one, Fode. Fode again, centering. Henley lost possession, lost idea of where the puck is. Cunningham now with it. Back now for Vivian. Vivian fires and a good save. Speaking of cold goalies, Nuff hasn't had a lot of action over the last couple of minutes, been at the other end. South Australia working it out of their defensive end on the left-hand side. Here's Fode. Mannix was there. Mannix there again. Mannix holding on for dear life. The puck's free. Cleared out by Cunningham. It'll be Cunningham now. Back now for Vivian. Up against Janowski. Vivian. Janowski gets the better of that one in the end. Almost a collision with the referee. Back now for South Australia. Clearing it up. Was tapped on there by Gagnon. And that'll come back now for Rippon. Just leaves it alone. Finds Arthur. Back now for Rippon. Back now for Arthur. Almost finds Mannix. Mannix takes over now. They went left, right, or what is it? East-west rather than north-south. Here's an opportunity. Queensland walking in. It was Crampton there. Great opportunity. South Australia looked to clear it out. Janowski finds some support. There in good numbers there was Weemat for Queensland. Partial line change for South Australia. All the way back down. And that won't come back for icing. Back to neutral ice. Mannix in some traffic. Noddle. Cross ice pass. Tries to find Holmes' ball but found Mannix instead. Mannix with it now. Going forward. Mannix has got Crampton for company. 2 wide of Crampton. Crampton recovers. Here's Weemat. Deflected into skate higher corner. 4:54 remaining. And JD, another period with not many whistles.
No, not a lot happening, which, let the players play.
And really, there hasn't been any need for any whistles until
that happens.
But that's not bad under the circumstances.
Well, that's right. I mean, yeah, sometimes it's good to happen. But then looking at these teams, they're all used to playing at this high level. They're all used to, you look at your Dane Arthurs and your Etienne Janowskis. Both have played for other countries previously in tournaments, so they're no strangers to playing without whistles.
So back into the South Australian hot zone by Hanson. Rebounds off the back wall. Cannon now looking to clear it out of harm's way for Queensland. Up near the door of doom. The puck just needs to continue to move, and it does. Cannon does extremely well to get it out of his defensive zone. Cannon now with 2 to beat. Interesting battle with Noddle. Big battle with Noddle. Noddle helps him to the boards. South Australia work it out via Els. Els flings it in. Safety first via Creasy. Back now for Ripon. Line change coming on for South Australia. And it was good for that line change. They all just didn't go to the one side when they came onto the ice, JD. They spread themselves out. Here's an opportunity for Gagnon. Janowski fires. What a save by Creasy, flashing the lever like that.
Life flashed before his eyes with that one too. I think that was equal parts self-defense and equal parts going the block, because, as we know, Janowski's got a cannon. So he winds it up, rips it straight towards the glove of the goalie there.
And that's the thing. You can choose somebody's first name, but you can't choose their last name.
No.
Well, in most cases. Back now, leaves the face-off circle. Queensland now with it down there, left-hand side. Duffy, cross-ice pass for Vivian. Vivian getting forced wide, getting shown the boards. Cafe corner, 3.5 minutes remaining of the second period before the Zamboni comes out. Vivian centering, just found Janowski. Here's an opportunity for Fode. Fode with it now. Fode just looking for some support in front. Here's Wiglund now with it. Almost loses possession. Still fighting for it in the slot. It balloons back out into neutral ice, and here's Fode again. Cross ice pass for Noddle. Noddle all the way back now. Left hand side. It'll come back now for Arthur. Arthur cross ice pass for Weemet. Into the zone, Duffy. It'll come back now for Wiglund, battling against Duffy. Reinforcements arrive in the form of Vivian and Gagnon in the corner. Skate high corner with 2:47 remaining. Cleared out back into neutral ice, South Australia. Here's an opportunity for Noddle. Noddle comes back, sees that the lanes were occupied. Got dispossessed well by Queensland. Cunningham originally with the initial interception. Cleared out by Queensland. And that'll come all the way back now for Noddle. Scott Hannon for company. And it'll come all the way back down into neutral ice. Weemet for Queensland is the first person there closest to the puck, trying to clear it out. Almost swerves into Mannix and then avoids them at the last minute. Weemet trying to go coast to coast and does so. Has some support centering and nobody there for Queensland in the slot. Wiglund trying clears it out. Back now for Hannon. Hannon just happy to dump it in. Partial line change coming up for South Australia. Holmes ball up against the boards. Working it out. Heavy contact there. Barter. Holmes ball. Truss. Back for Barter. Cannon now. Minute 39 remaining in the period. Cannon pressured. Two Queensland players collide off the puck. Won't be the first time. Won't be the last. Trying to clear it out Queensland, but they can't. Janowski. It'll come back for Queensland with 1:24 remaining in the period. And at this point, JD, you've basically been playing 30 minutes stop time all in a row. It's hard.
It is, and as we've said previously in this game, in previous games, these are kids. They're all under 15, and yes, they're all fantastic little athletes, but they're going to need a rest. God knows I couldn't move for 30 minutes, let alone sprint at a squat on ice.
There is 1 minute remaining in the period.
Stop stealing my line.
Sorry, JD. Back now. You know we're going to do that from now on.
Good. Hope you
Fired wide of Creasy. Kept in the zone by Henley. Receives a little love tap from Mannix for their company. Out of the zone, back into neutral ice. And it will come back for Crampton. Crampton enters the zone, but they've gone offside.
And you get a whistle so you can take a breath for 4 seconds.
Thank you, JD.
That's all right. Look, as we've said, and I was going to say it in 32 seconds time, but we'll say it now. It's still not insurmountable. The mountain's getting higher. It's not quite a range yet. Look, I think they'll need that break, regroup, have a breath, have a drink, talk some strategy. It's nowhere near over for Queensland at this point.
So neutral zone face-off closest to the Queensland bench. Play continues now. It'll come back now for Noddle with 29 seconds remaining in the period. And back now for Noddle. Noddle's got options left and right. Goes towards the left-hand side. Nice stretch pass. But back now for Watts for Queensland. Watts finds Noddle for South Australia with 12 seconds remaining in the period. One last opportunity possibly for Fode. Nice drop pass for Gagnon. Power play coming up for South Australia as Fode was brought to the ice. Extra attacker coming on for South Australia, but they'll run out of time to enforce the penalty. So South Australia will come back with a full 2-minute power play.
They certainly will. And, I love all things hockey, but, geez, I love a good drop pass.
I've been seeing it more at this level than I expected.
That's right. I mean, it's one of those things that I don't think they really teach. You just sort of pick it up as you go. But look, what a period of play. The score, cliche time, doesn't necessarily reflect the gameplay that's gone on between. It's just a couple of those goals at Adelaide, South Australia. My apologies again to our South Australian
Adelaide
listeners.
is the capital of South Australia.
To the Redbacks. They've just had a couple of the goals have just sort of trickled in through luck. Some have obviously, less luck, more skill. But look, it's nowhere near over. 4 goals is not impossible in a period. It's a challenge, but it can definitely be done.
So South Australia 2 goals in that second period. Mozcheska, first goal of the tournament, assisted by Fode. And then Hansen, second goal of the tournament, assisted by Trost. So that, JD, is it. Zamboni break. We'll be back in about 12 minutes for the resumption of play. Queensland have a mountain to climb. Can they do it? We'll see shortly. South Australia 5-1. Back soon. Welcome back to Hunter Ice Skating Stadium. Eric, Brook and JD with you. 5-1 South Australia. Oh, there's a 5-minute penalty. We'll find out more information about that now. There was a penalty that was assessed at the end of the period. So Watts is going into the penalty box now. But there was a delayed penalty at the end of that period that couldn't be assessed because the other team hadn't touched up. But there is a 5 in game to Sammy Rippon, so that's why Watts is sitting in the penalty box. So Sammy Rippon gone, and that's a big blow, JD, for Queensland.
It most certainly is, because he was, as we've established, one of their stronger players, and losing him and also being on this 5-minute penalty kill, it's not a great time to be Queensland.
Ice is slippery. Back now for Gagnon. So a massive opportunity here for South Australia, a 5-minute major. So the clock will continue to run on that penalty for the next 4 minutes 15. And even if South Australia scores, that doesn't cancel the penalty.
Not when it comes to a 5-minute major, no.
So back now, entering the zone. Cross ice pass intercepted there by Cannon. Getting sent wide is South Australia on the power play. Janowski. Back now for Noddle. Noddle, right-hand side. Finding Gagnon, working down low. I haven't seen too many people on a power play down in that position where Fode is now, down low. Shot fired there by Gagnon. Follow-up attempt and a good save. I haven't seen too many people in that low under the goal line position. No, that's not traditionally where one ends up in that particular situation. They're usually much more spread out, doing the sort of the spread out passing manoeuvres we were talking about earlier. You see it here, it's not... Oh no, thought we were going to replay, my apologies. Yeah, not one of those moments that you tend to see. So 3:38 remaining on the penalty, kept into the zone, luckily there by Henley. That pass could have went anywhere. Back now for Saxon Cannon. Cannon clears it out, and that'll come back towards neutral ice. That'll come back now for Barter. Entering the zone is Hansen. Vivian does a good job of clearing it out. No icing on the penalty kill. And that will come all the way back down for Nat. A well-needed change for the Queenslanders. Back now on the right-hand side. Entering the zone now. Dropping it off and firing from distance. It was a good deflection in front. And Hale was there ready to take advantage and keep it out of the net. But it was a good tap-on attempt by South Australia in the slot. Wigan now, left-hand side in towards skate higher. Queensland still short-handed. Wigan firing, or trying to fire, looking for a lane, looking for a spot that's open. Somebody in a better position, maybe. Big, wide pass. Barter, even if she was 70'11", wouldn't have been able to reach that one. It goes back to her own goal line. Didn't quite go where we're going to need that to go. Crossing all the lines now, Barter trying to squeeze through a gap. Goes wide, still tries to fire. Finds the shins of Cannon. Cleared out, or tried to clear it out by Queensland. Now they try and clear it out again. And it will come all the way back down. No icing on the penalty kill for the next minute 55. So when we left you, we thought that was going to be a 2-minute power play, but it turns into be a 5-minute power play for South Australia as they enter the zone via Noddle. We were two people who was wrong. But look, they've been on the penalty kill for, 3.5 minutes at this point. And Janoski's just nailed a power play goal. But to be fair, I know the point you were going to make, JD. Up until that point, the defence has been solid. It had been absolutely solid till the Janoski effect comes into play. And as I mentioned earlier, no stranger to high-level hockey, having played, I think it was 2 years ago, having played for Bangkok, of all places. So 6-1 now the score. Mountain gets that little bit higher. You start to think that Queensland start to really assess the rest of this game. And the power play remains in operation for South Australia, and the penalty box door remains closed for a major penalty. That's right. So back now. But your point is well made despite the goal, JD. Their penalty killing for Queensland has been good, and South Australia have gone offside. Couple of stick taps by Selector, so good decision.
Excellent.
Well done.
That's right. Good job blowing your whistle. Yeah, no, you're right. But Queensland's performance throughout the whole tournament on the penalty kill has been sort of fairly strong.
So replay action here. Attacking zone face-off coming up for Queensland. A much-needed breather and much-needed zone time in the attacking zone for Queensland.
If like nothing else, rather, it'll only give them sort of a few minutes to breathe while they look to fill the face-off.
So we've just got some adjustments to make with the clock, which is being done. So the linesman's been called to the South Australian bench.
Just see if we can hear what that's about.
So probably the question is, why are they going back all that way for offside?
Right, but we didn't actually, from where we are up here in the central commentary position, couldn't quite hear the linie's response. So our apologies for dead air. We were trying to get you some information.
So we're just confirming that the time on the scoreboard is the correct time. The time on the jumbo is the correct time. We've confirmed that now. 10:47 remaining.
The referees have just advised both benches.
Back now. It is back now for South Australia. Jadowski with it on the left-hand side. Back now, Noddle. Play continues. So an attacking zone face-off coming up for South Australia. So an attacking zone face-off coming up for South Australia. Hannon. Mannix does a good job of clearing it out for Queensland. 25 seconds remaining of the penalty. It'll come back now for Henley. Henley, a lot of open ice for South Australia to work out with. And they just happen to promote the puck forward well. Back now for Cannon at their defensive end. Heavy collision up against the boards. Cannon again. The South Australian bench, which I'm closer to, certainly love that exchange of play. South Australia still on the attack, trying to force the goalie left and right. Power play is over. And back to 5-on-5 hockey. Even though there was one goal, it was an extended 5-minute power play. Cannon entering the zone. Cannon crossing all the lines, firing. And a good save there by Knapp.
Fantastic save by Knapp. Right between the 5-hole, caught it between his knees. Problem solved. What a shot and what a breakout, though. And that's what you got to watch out with. Even though you're winning, that could still change. You get a breakout like that, you get a goalie who's not quite as quick to drop as Knapp, and suddenly we're at 6-2. But we're not.
Attacking zone face-off coming up for Queensland to the right-hand side of Knapp. 9:38 remaining. 6-1 South Australia. Back now for Els. Els now just reversing the attack, finding Noddle. Noddle finds Truss. Hanson back now for Truss. Walking in. Good work there by Arthur with the poke check. Hanson keeps it in the zone for South Australia. That was heavy contact by Peptides. Firing, that was very high. The puck's still free. The puck ballooned for an eternity from Creasy, and then it just dribbled over the line in the end.
Yeah, look at this. Get it back in. Fired off. Up. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, it's in behind him.
So this net cam will show it rather well.
Yeah. That's heartbreaking for the goal. There's nothing they could have done about that one.
So 7-1 now in favour of South Australia. That will come back now for Cannon. Cannon with it now. Cannon getting forced all the way back to their own goal line. Great checking pressure here. trying to clear it out. Queensland kept in the zone by Janowski. It'll come back now for Cannon for Queensland. Got an opportunity to clear it on their right-hand side. But South Australia, JT, are doing a great job of keeping them down here.
They absolutely are. And that's all they need to do at this point. Beautiful glove save.
Nice glove save there by Creasy.
Yeah, it's all they need to do. They don't need to win it at this point. You can almost go out on a limb and say, barring something miracle, they've got it won.
They're at the top of the mountain.
They are. They're at the top there. They've got the flag planted. They're saying, come on, Queensland, come over here and try and take our flag. Seems unlikely.
That's a good analogy. I like that.
You can have that one too.
Thank you, mate. Back kept in just, but I lost sight of that for a moment. It'll come back now for Queensland into the corner at skate higher corner. Not all does a good job of keeping it in. That'll come back now for Cannon against Hannon. Kept into the zone briefly by Barter. Not all having to turn and chase for South Australia. Here comes South Australia now on the left-hand side. Goes wide. Holmes ball, just setting it back in the same direction. Noddle looking to be first to the puck for South Australia. That'll come back now for Arthur. Arthur under some pressure by Holmes ball. Stick lifting there, which by the way is fine. Back now for Barter. Cross ice pass, but it was interrupted there by Shalekna. Come back for Noddle. Interference to call. Penalty box door will be opening and Queensland will be heading to a much needed power play.
And it's so easy to do for these kids.
Barter, 2 minutes for interference.
Yeah, Eleanor Barter going for a sit with the gentleman over there. Maybe they've got red frogs.
I know we have red frogs in bulk.
I do enjoy when that happens.
Peptides, strepsils, hand warmers.
All of it.
All of it. It's a long tournament and we're pleased to be here. And self-care is very important for everybody. All the way back down. Creasy just watches the puck go from right to left. Here's Cannon. Can't argue about Cannon's workload, JD.
Not at all. The calibre of this player is absolutely phenomenal.
Cunningham got it into neutral ice. Arthur back Peptides. Cannon. Cannon now getting forced wide by Janowski in a Zamboni corner. And also all the state flags are in the corner as well.
Not quite visible on our stream, but take our word for it, they are definitely there.
I do miss that end of the ice at Adelaide Ice Arena with all the flags and banners there.
And the igloo.
The igloo, the crash igloo's gone. Back now for Mannix. Mannix getting around one, trying to get around two. The puck balloons. Wiegand with the big Tanagi. Kept in the zone well by Mannix there. Didn't have a lot of room to work with. And it will come back now for Cannon. Cannon now at their own defensive end. It's got options left and right. Thinks about the left, sees that that's occupied. Right, finds Mannix, who finds Cannon again. Pressure there by Hansen. Hansen causes a turnover, comes down to the ice. Mannix off the goal frame, almost hand delivered it to a South Australian player. Works out well to Pep Rides. Cross ice into corporate corner. Flung out by Noddle all the way down. Queensland still on the power play for the next 18 seconds. Kept in the zone. So South Australia doing a great job of killing the penalty. And as you said, JD, they're at the top of the mountain with their flag firmly planted in the ground. Kept in the zone via Noddle. Puck pinballs around. Past Cafe and skate higher corners respectively. They'll come all the way back down to Arthur. Holmes ball. Arthur. Janowski. Centering and cleared out by South Australia. 5-on-5 hockey. Here's Mannix for Queensland. Mannix crossing all the lines. Got some speed. Mannix up against Noddle now. Noddle shows them the boards. Wiegand takes over into Zamboni corner. Here's Wiegand. Just going the length for the ice. Has Spencer ball in front of the net. Holmes ball, Spencer Holmes ball. Here's Fode, Cafe corner. Good work there by Duffy. And now Queensland managed to get it out via Duffy. Duffy now dumping and chasing, weaving, swerving around Wiegland. Duffy, Zamboni corner. Gagnon up against Duffy again. South Australia almost get it out. Was well kept in the zone by Ouimet, and then Vivian for Queensland. 4 minutes remaining. 7-1 Cunningham. Play continues. Wooshka, that was a big turn argued by Gannon against Cunningham. Penalty box door will be opening. Delayed penalty, South Australia touch up. Queensland power play. Interference the call.
Most certainly was, and then young Gannon will go off for a little sit of their own. Once again, Queensland back on the power play. Probably not enough time left for them to try and equalise it, but they can at least, get a couple more goals away.
Well, we've seen that happen. You score one goal from behind, and that can lead to another goal, and a little bit of respectability into it as well. And everybody wants to score at a tournament like this. Back now for Cannon. Cannon in skate higher corner. Reinforcements arriving from both teams. Back now for Cannon. Cannon now pressured, monstered. Still getting out of trouble all by themselves. Next obstacle is Barter. Barter provides some resistance, just enough to knock it into the zone briefly. Back now for Mannix. Mannix getting forced wide. Mannix in good position, looking for somebody in front. Finds Cannon. Do you fire at Saxon? Yes, you do. Into the slot, cleared out by South Australia with a minute, just on 1 minute remaining on the power play. And Queensland, they do have the player advantage. They're at the wrong end briefly. South Australia have been good short-handed or on a power play. Back in some traffic, Henley, shown the boards there by Cannon, who receives a cross-check for his problems, for his efforts. And up against the boards, players collide, the puck is dead.
It is, and what a collision that was too. But and again, as we've said many a time when we've worked together, this Brisbane team, Queensland team, my apologies once again, Queensland team, they haven't given up. They're 6 goals down, 2.5 out. They're still fighting just as hard as they were when it was 0-all 2 minutes into the first period.
And also, as we've said, on and off air, it's great to be able to play this many games at this level over so many days compared to what you could play in your home state at your home rinks against people that you play against all the time.
Correct. I mean, they play their club hockey. They play, 3 periods of 15-minute run time once a week. You come to an experience like this, they're playing stop time. They're having a great time.
Duffy now. Duffy in the slot. Good work there by Noddle. Vivian, Ouimet. And back into neutral ice. It'll come back now for Cannon. Power play just about over for Queensland. And we have a whistle that will come back for icing.
It most certainly will. Move back down, grab the puck. And look, minute 50 out, still on the 4 seconds left on the power play, such as it is, or the penalty kill, depending on your perspective. Probably not going to make much difference at this point, but what have we said about that penalty kill? Both sides, fantastic.
Attacking zone face-off coming up for South Australia to end this power play period. Kept in the zone via Noddle. Battle up against the boards. Ouimet. Sticks go flying. Players go flying. Vivian has really had to provide the muscle in the absence of Ripon. Vivian getting sent wide. Trying to get a shot on, or in the general direction at least. Noddle clears it out. Collision there on the blue line. Now back into neutral ice. It was good work there right underneath the central commentary position by Watts. Fired in by Hansen, who will come off for a change. 65 seconds remaining. The flag was planted long ago, but Queensland as they do in the Queenslander spirit, they never give up. I'm surprised they all don't say Queenslander for their chant. It's not as if there's any precedent for it, but back there...
No, never happened.
Back now. Heavy contact there, Duffy, Wiegland. 45 seconds remaining. Cross-ice pass. Too strong and wide of Holmes' ball before they come off for a change. Back now for Cannon. Cannon now, there's a foot race on the on the left-hand side, getting around a couple. Fode. Still with it is Queensland. Queensland now, Cannon. Beating almost everybody except for the goal. He got a good shot on Cannon. Centering pass out of the zone. 15 seconds remaining. One last opportunity possibly for South Australia. Fires, good save there by Creasy. Almost out of the zone. Well kept in the zone in the end as time will expire and South Australia will continue their charge towards the DeFris Championship for 2024.
They've got to be your favourites to meet New South Wales in that final, don't they? Just based on their output and the way that they've been playing.
Absolutely. So each team gathering to celebrate.
And we have an e-bug sighting.
We do have an e-bug sighting. Not her first time on the ice today.
No, but I do believe it's her last. But look, you've got to assume that it's going to be South Australia there meeting New South Wales. Just based on paper and performance. But as we said, on paper, anything looks right, and then, anything can happen after that. But look, it's got to be your odds on, right?
So South Australia with one game in hand now for the round robin. That's their second win of the tournament after their win yesterday against the ACT. And Queensland certainly not disgraced in this game. They haven't won a game yet. Lots of improvement, though. It's arguably their best result so far. They have one game to go as well. That'll be against the ACT. So we'll see what happens in that game. Handshakes all round, fist bumps all round. Eric Brook and John D with you. JD, thank you for your company.
No problem.
Certainly
Anytime.
appreciated.
Not a problem at all, my friend.
So Zamboni on the ice. We'll break now for our next game very, very soon. Very, very soon. Thank you very much for watching. South Australia win this DeFris battle 7-1 against Queensland. Thanks for watching. Goodbye for now. Thank you as always to our crew.